Over now to Egypt as the situation deteriorates. The aid dollars are pouring in. Egypt's prosecutor also ordering the arrests of Muslim Brotherhood leaders, saying they caused Monday's massacre, which killed 55 people. Surrounding countries, though, are stepping up big time with financial relief today. Kuwait pledged $4 billion in aid. That's on top of Saudi Arabia's $8 billion. United Arab Emirates committed already. Lisa Daftari is Middle East expert and Fox News contributor. She's here to make sense of all that money. What does it mean to us that they contributed that money? Does it put more pressure on us to ante up, or does it relieve the pressure?
You know, we should just be extremely happy that everyone's chipping in, because we should be as happy as these Gulf nations that the Muslim Brotherhood influence is decreasing in the country, that Morsi's out. They're much happier than we are. We should be showing the same type of enthusiasm. These countries have had their eye on Morsi. They've had their eye on what's developing in Egypt over the last 2 years.
Right.
And they're, fearful that these influences would grow in their own country as well. Why are they giving the money? Because we should all be of the mindset that we should pour the money into Egypt, let them grow.
But how do we know that the replacement is better than what was there? Because we've been burned in that situation so many times before. Absolutely.
But the good news here, and you're absolutely right, there's a lot of concern, right? But going forward, the good news here is that the people of Egypt didn't settle for what they got. They poured into the streets. Some voted for Morsi. He was democratically elected, whatever that means, but there are issues. We don't even know if that was a legitimate election, but let's say it was. But he did not govern democratically. He was more concerned about making the country more extreme, bringing his Islamist views into the government, rather than fixing the economy. Had he fixed the economy, he would have lasted.
So we should step in with money. We also have these F-16 jets that are scheduled to be delivered.
Our aid has been predominantly bolstering the army, and that's the way it's going to remain, because that's where our interests are. Where did the aid for Egypt originate? The U.S. paid them in the late 70s to maintain our interests there, the Suez Canal, the borders, peace with Israel, and that's where our interests are. But at the same time, what do the Egyptians need? They need food, they need jobs, we need to help.
They need food, don't they? I mean, for people that are out there watching in the audience, they're seeing a lot of violence, they're seeing a lot of bloodshed. So to take fighter jets and send them over to an area that's currently exploding, to a lot of people out there, makes no sense. Does it make sense?
It makes sense. It makes sense in the long run, right? In the short term, the money that these Gulf states are pouring in will be, a lot of it will be used for products, for petroleum, poured right into Egypt's central bank so that they could use that and put it towards imports. But in the long term, we're looking to fortify the country. We're looking to, keep our interests in place as well. But what we really need to do is not only just hand over the checks and hand over the supplies or the military aid. What we need to do is put conditions on everything.
How long do you think it takes for this situation to stabilize more?
Oh, I want to be extremely hopeful right now, but I think it's going to be a while before we see it. But the interim government, the good news is that the interim government is trying to expedite that. They put forward a 6-month plan, which the Muslim Brotherhood rejected, so that, arresting these leaders from the top down, that's one way.
You think that makes sense?
Well, it makes sense because, they want to go hard because they want to put an end to this. They want to, have some leverage, bring them to the table, to include them, which sounds impossible. It's a huge challenge to bring these types of people to the negotiating table, but it seems that that's the only way to really go forward.
Great perspective, Lisa. Thank you.
My pleasure.